All right, guys, we are on our third page of notes, all right? And in number 6, it says Ian needs to replace 2 concrete sections of his sidewalk as modeled below. Each section is 36 inches by 36 inches and 4 inches deep, okay? He can mix his own concrete for $3.25 per cubic foot. How much money will it cost Ian to replace the 2 concrete sections? Okay. So something we have to pick up on. He said it's $3.25 per cubic foot. Cubic foot is the same thing as feet cubed. Feet cubed is volume. So that is how I know this is a volume question. All right. So I'm going to write down V equals. What are we finding the volume of is that you have to realize that these are, I guess we would call them square prisms because this is a square on top because it's 36 by 36 and then has a height of 4. Okay, so we are going to do volume of a prism, which is volume equals big B times H. All right, so we're going to take that big B off to the side, and we're going to have to realize that big B is the area of the base shape, and in this is an area of a square. Okay, square on top, square on bottom. Squares, guys, are rectangles, and so their area formula is base times height. All right, so the second thing that makes this problem a little bit confusing is that we can't plug in 36 and 36 for the base and the height. And the reason is, do you remember how they said cubic foot or feet cubed? These are not in feet, these are in inches. All right, so we're going to have to remember how to convert. So 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So if we have 36 inches, that's going to equal 3 feet. So at least it was an easy conversion. So this is 3 feet instead of 36 inches. This is going to be 3 feet instead of 36 inches. All right. And same thing as if I have 4 inches for my other dimension, okay, the height of the concrete. 4 inches is going to be 1/3 of a foot. All right. So this is going to get replaced with 1/3 foot or 0.3 repeating feet. Okay, either one you can use. Okay, all right, so that makes the problem even more difficult. So here we go. So our base and our height of our square here is 3 feet by 3 feet. So 3 feet times 3 feet is equal to 9 feet squared here. So now we can take our 9 and put it back in for big B, and this is going to end up being a 9. All right, the height, remember, is 0.3 repeating. Okay, or 1/3 you can put in there. And when we multiply 9 by 0.3 repeating, we actually end up with a nice old 3. And that's 3 feet cubed for our volume. All right. However, and we're not finished because not only does he have one of these concrete slabs, we actually have 2 of them. All right. So we only figured out that there's 3 feet cubed for one, 3 feet cubed for our second one. And so we actually have 6 feet cubed, okay, or 6 cubic feet of concrete that we need. And now we're going to go ahead and remember that there's a cost per cubic foot. So we're going to multiply by 3.25. And we end up with a cost of $19.50 to make these 2 concrete slabs. All right. And that is how much it's going to cost Ian. All right. We'll take a look at the next question. And in number 7, it talks about Jed bought a generator that will run for 2 hours on a liter of gas. The gas tank on the generator is a rectangular prism with dimensions of 20 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 10 centimeters, as shown below. If Jed fills the tank with gas, how long will a generator run? Show how you arrived at your answer. Note that 1,000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1 liter. So right there, that kind of tells me, all right, since we're talking about centimeters cubed, that this is a volume question. Because this is a prism, we're going to go ahead and go to our reference sheet and write down volume equals big B times H. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and remember that big B stands for the area of the base. which our base shape looks like a rectangle. So area of rectangle. The area of a rectangle is base times height. So looking at this rectangle on the bottom here, it's 15 by 20. So we'll say 15 times 20. And 15 times 20 ends up being 300. Okay, so now we can go back and take our big B out of there and replace it with 300 times our height of 10. And we end up with a volume of 3,000 centimeters cubed. Okay, and keep in mind that 1,000 centimeters cubed is equal to 1 liter. And this means that we will have 3 liters. Okay, 1,000 cubic centimeters is 1 liter. 3,000 cubic centimeters would be 3 liters. Okay, and it said that Jed bought a generator that will run for 2 hours on a liter of gas. So since we have 3 liters, 2 hours each, we can run our generator for 6 hours. And that is the answer to our question. All right. It says if Jed fills the tank with gas, how long will the generator run? So we are going to say 6 hours. Okay. Good, guys. All right. So let's talk about one more thing, and that is something called cross sections. Cross sections is when you take a flat surface, like I always think like when you get cross sections, you're cutting a 3-dimensional solid with like a knife. A knife is your flat surface. Okay. So when you cut it, the shape, and you pull the pieces apart and you look, you have a flat shape. Okay. And that flat shape is called the cross section. So it's the shape that you get when you slice a solid figure. Okay. Cross sections can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal slices. A cross section that is parallel to the base of a prism is congruent to whatever the shape of the base of the prism is. Okay. It's going to be the same shape. So keep in mind, they're always 2-dimensional. All right. So if I took a knife and I sliced, let's say, right through here, okay, and I pulled my 2 pieces apart, okay, that's called parallel to the base. I get the same base shape as the base, which would be a rectangle. Okay. If I were to take my knife and slice down, okay, or perpendicular to the base, because I'm slicing straight down, I get another shape, although this one is still a rectangle. Okay. If I slice, let's say, the corner here off of my shape, okay, I might get something that looks like a triangle. Okay. Or maybe possibly another rectangle, depending on how I slice my figure. So those are called cross sections. Okay. All right, number 8. It says that a right hexagonal prism is shown below. Okay, it's called a hexagonal prism because the bottom is a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides is a hexagon. And notice it's a prism because it has the same congruent hexagon on the top. Okay, so a 2-dimensional cross section that is perpendicular to the base. So perpendicular to the base means that I am taking my knife here, I'm putting it on the top, and I'm slicing straight down. Okay, and I'm going to get this shape in here. All right, which figure describes that 2-dimensional cross section? Hopefully you guys can see that if I take that and I slice straight down, I'm going to get a rectangle. Okay. All right. Hopefully that was good, and I will see you guys on the next day of notes.